welcome to the live where I am answering the questions off of the Patreon group. So if you want to ask me a question, then definitely check out the link in the description below to ask me questions on the Patreon group. So let's dive right in to your guys' questions. So first question is, somebody's asking about divorce. So is there any affirmations or something to get my SP to divorce the third party and to marry me? Okay, so when it comes to manifesting away any third party, it's always the same as without a third party. Is what you want to do is focus on what you want, focus on what your end goal is. Okay, so that's how you speed up any manifestation. Is the more time and energy that you focus on, put your attention to focusing on what you want, the quicker you're going to make these things happen. So what you want to focus on is how much your specific person wants to be with you, only wants to be with you. Now, the only thing that I would say is a little bit different with a third party is I would also, work on the story of every reason why, they haven't broken up yet and all the reasons why you don't think that they want to be with you. And then I would take those complaints and change them into positive intentions that are in line with your goal of being in a relationship and the third party leaving. So because, with a third party, you can either do it, two ways. You can go through and you can say, well, I intend that the third party finds, somebody else and moves on with their life, which you should do anyway. Or you can just focus on saying, look, I don't care how it happens, but I just intend that, what, so-and-so's with me, divorces whoever else to be with me. Okay, so you would also intend that the third party and the other one get a divorce. So there's really no right or wrong way to do this. I mean, the only thing is to focus on what you want. So if you were focusing on what you want with your SP, your story would be, yeah, you know what? He used to be married or she used to be married. They got divorced because they want to be with me and only me, and they'll do anything to be with me. Okay, so that's what you want to focus on, and you want to focus on, you guys being together, okay, and the other one's breaking up whenever you think about it, okay? So you also want to work on your self-concept as well, because how did you create the third party? Was the third party created through insecurities? So if the third party was created through insecurities, then you are going to want to work on your self-concept, okay? So that's generally speaking, so yeah, affirmations. My SP wants to be with me and only me, and yeah, that would be one of the main affirmations I would use, in your situation. The next question is Holly's question. So how do you treat birds before land when dealing with manifesting a specific person? So how can I best use these dates and interactions with these men while waiting for the new version of my specific person? Okay, so birds before land. I don't know. I've heard that, term with a bunch of people. I don't know who created it, but basically birds before land, in my opinion, is basically partial manifestation. Okay, so here's an example. So let's say that you create that, you always think, that you intend that Walter calls you. Okay, so name we're pulling out of the air here. So if you're intending that, but you're seeing Walter's name in other places, then what's happening is you have a partial manifestation. So you have a block with actual Walter, but not the name Walter. So you're going to see Walter everywhere, but Walter's not going to call because you've got a block with Walter calling. Okay, so if, for instance, okay, you say, well, you know what, Jay calls me every day, and your SP's name is Jay, but the Jay you want to call you isn't calling you and other Jays are, then you're going to want to take a look and say, okay, why is the Jay I want not calling me? Okay, so because your intentions are going to take the path of least resistance, okay? So let's go with the Jay example. Let's say, for instance, Jay, the one that you want to call you, your specific person. My Gerry teddy bears are packed because of moving, or else I would have them here. Okay, so your Joe, your your SP, okay, Jay, okay, you've got a story that he doesn't want to talk to you. He'll never forgive you. Okay, so now if you say, well, I intend for Jay to call me, you're going to have other Jays call you because your brain, your subconscious mind goes, this Jay over here never wants to talk to you again because that's what your story is. you need a J to call you. I'm going to get that J over there to call you. Okay, so that's how your brain works, path of least resistance. So we need to break down the resistance that we've got towards J. So basically the partial manifestation is that J calls you, but it's not the right J, but you are getting the phone call. So then what you need to do at that point is say, why isn't the J that I want calling me? Right? That's the question. So yeah, so that's how you would deal with, basically your birds before land, your partial manifestations, is you would take what shows up in your reality and you would say to yourself, okay, wait a minute, I do want Jay to call me, but not this Jay. Why isn't that Jay calling me? And start focusing on, intentions for the Jay that you want to call you. Okay. So that's how you use your reality to your advantage to find your blocks and speed up your manifestation. Okay. So the next question is Minnie Meow Meow. I love that username. Awesome. Minnie Meow Meow. Hi, Amanda. Hello. You always say that when something happens in your 3D world, don't give it any meaning or make it mean something positive. Yes. Nothing means anything because everything in your reality is created by your thoughts. So if I say, well, you know what, Jerry's going to be late, then Jerry's late. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean he disrespects me. It doesn't mean that he doesn't like me. He doesn't mean that, he doesn't like to respect my time. It just means he was late because I thought he would be late, right? So it doesn't mean anything. And yeah, if you are going to put a meaning on something, make it a positive meaning. And so can you share examples of how you would do that? For examples, if someone you knew ignored you at a party instead of saying hi. Well, okay, so if I saw someone I knew at a party ignored me instead of saying hi, I probably wouldn't jump to they're ignoring me on purpose. I would probably go with, oh, they didn't see me. It was a busy night. There was a lot of people there. Or maybe, if they saw me, I may not, go straight to, oh, they're mad at me. I may, let's choose something like, oh, maybe, maybe they're embarrassed, or maybe they're too shy, or maybe they're not sure what to say to me. So I would try to give it a meaning other than a negative meaning. So what other reasons could there have been that your friend didn't come over to say hi to you? Now, the one main reason and the one true reason is because you created them not to come say hi to you, right? You didn't create them coming to say hi to you. So at the end of the day, you created it, right? You created their interaction for them, or their lack of interaction with you. So to take responsibility for it. But that's all there is to it, is they didn't come say hi to you because you created them not to say hi to you. But then, not to give it a meaning that, they ignored you and they're mad at you, because now you're creating a whole other story. So I would create a story that they didn't see you, or they didn't recognize you maybe, or, you never know, I would create, more of a story that works in your favor, because if you want to be friends with them, then you're not going to want to assume that they're mad at you and ignoring you. You're going to want to create an assumption that is in line with you guys being friends. So what you want to do is live from the end. So say, if I was having the friendship with this person that I thought that I had, okay, that we were best friends, and this and that, and I saw them at a party and they didn't say hi, say anything to me, what would my thoughts be? Would your thoughts be, oh, straight up, they're ignoring me and they don't like me? Or, if it was your best friend that you've got a great relationship with, it might just be like, oh, you know what, they totally didn't recognize me. They didn't even see me. It was busy in there. So I wasn't at the party. I don't know what options there are to create here, but you want to change the meaning you're giving it. Now, the thing is, right, is everything in this world is empty and meaningless. It's all just created by you. And then it's up to you to attach the meaning that you want to give to it. That's just all of what life is. Life, the meaning life has is the meaning you choose to give to life, right? Or to whatever situation that you have, right? So, so what else? The other one here, the other one is, or if you didn't get invited somewhere that all your friends did, how would you go about in your thought process of giving something like that a positive meaning or no meaning? Well, again, like for instance, people inviting, not inviting me somewhere, I would be, it's happened to me before. I would look deep down and go, well, you know what, maybe, deep down, I didn't want to go. There's been many times deep down I didn't want to go, and then somebody, didn't invite me, and then I was upset. But deep down, I didn't want to go. my thought process would be, look, I created them not inviting me. Now, let's say you have created one of your friends to be mean to you and to ignore you and to not invite you places. And then at that point, you would want to take a look and go, okay, you know what? I need to change, and recreate this person to be nice to me. Okay. So you may, yes, have created someone to be mean to you. And no, I'm not saying be a doormat and give them, nice meanings, but at some point you have to acknowledge and then recreate the person. Okay, so go back and you know what, they always invite me places, So my thought process would be, well, I wouldn't be upset at the person. I know I created them to treat me like this, or I know I created them not to invite me, or, and then what you also want to start doing is when they do stuff like this, to not give them give what their actions the meaning that they don't like you, because that assumption of giving this everything that they do the meaning, the assumption that they don't like you, is going to create them not to like you. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to start seeing their actions and towards you as something other than negative. Okay, does that make sense? So, but if you can't, if you can't see someone, treating you better, or if you can't say, well, you know what, no, they saw me at the party, they're just mean to me. This isn't about being a doormat. And no, you don't have to, be in that sort of relationship or be with those types of people. But in order to change somebody, you've got to be able to see them as a different person, okay? And see their behavior as something other than being mean to you if you want them to be nice. So let me explain this a bit better. So for instance, right, if you never want to be disrespected by somebody, never accuse anybody of disrespecting you, okay? So whatever you project onto people is what you're going to perceive back from them, okay? So if you're going to project onto somebody that they're always disrespecting you, they're always mean to you, then that's what you're going to get back from them. And then you need to change your assumption of them. Okay. So, and then meaning wise, right, is, yeah, again, right, if you don't want anyone to be mean to you, don't ever make their actions mean that they're being mean to you. And then nobody will ever be mean to you, because nobody can ever do anything to you. Okay. You create what you make what they do to you mean, right? So you've always got to create the meaning to be in line with what your end goal is going to be. Okay. I intend that made sense. Right. Anyways, next question. A's question. A says, hello, Amanda. Hello. My SP says he feels no attachment for me and has no interest in love and relationship. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He says he is the one who initiated this love interest between us. And now, knowing how a good person and gentleman he is, I adore him and I love him and I want to be in a loving relationship with me. He said twice he has no attachment for me and he does not love me. He has an ex-girlfriend and he feels so attached to her, despite she is in another country. I have told all of my feelings to him and literally poured out my heart to this guy. One day he's good, realized, and acknowledged. The next day he changes his mind. How to recreate him to be the loving person I want him, and how to stop him from being so fickle every day. So, I mean, he's going to show up the way that you want him to show up. He's going to, well, not really want, the way you assume him to show up, okay? So, and it's not so much, well, Amanda, you know what, I want him to show up wanting me, but it's your assumption of him. So, for instance, right there, how to stop him from being so fickle. So now we've created him to be a fickle person that's hot, cold, back and forth. Now he's only like that because you're creating him to be like that. So you've got to be really, really, strong in your persistence of who you want him to be. Okay, so you need to keep believing he's the person that is the person that's nice and the one that wants to be with you and who initiated the love. And you need to keep him in and keep thinking of him being that person. And then when you do see the other person come, which is the no attachment, doesn't want to be in a relationship kind of guy, you got to kind of just take that as a joke and be like, no, I'm not believing that, not accepting that. So what does not accepting that in our head look like? It looks like not reacting. It looks like going, okay, yeah, no, I get it. Today, that's how you feel. No worries. And then internally going, no, I intend for him to be ready for a relationship and for him to tell me that. Okay. So you've got to go and feel and to, keep your intentions and your thoughts and your feelings all in line with who you want him to be and have those inner conversations with him. Do the intentions. Okay. Little bit of the hiccups here, guys. Hold on one sec. Vivian's question is next. So Vivian's question is, hi, Amanda. I've had a couple of coaching sessions with the amazing Erica. And Erica is amazing. She is. And she helped me to create some affirmations. My husband and I have been living apart for over 4 years. Initiated by me, but continued by him. I created affirmations for him coming home. And then the interim goal of, I'm so happy and grateful now that my husband and I communicate daily, plus some other communication ones. Since then, we have, in fact, been communicating much more, not daily, but the communications are still not the I'm sorry, I want to come home now variety, which is what I would love, with or without the I'm sorry. So I don't know if this is a question or a success story. I know, right? So happy. Yes, we are interacting much more regularly, but it doesn't seem to be moving anywhere. I welcome your insight and advice. Thanks so much. Yes, no third parties or anything like that. Just a hot menopause mess. And it's over now. Okay, so we need to revise the breakup. And we need to revise, whatever happened. It was initiated by you, but continued by him. So why is it being continued by him? You've got to take the story and you've got to completely rewrite it, revise it. Okay, so you need to revise it to where he's over it and he's coming home. And he understands why you did everything, and he's an understanding guy. And you know what? He just wants to put it behind you guys and get together. You really need to revise it and revise what he's thinking and revise what he feels and revise him. Also work on your own self-concept. Are you good enough? The hot menopausal mess. I don't know. Have you done something that you feel is unforgivable? I mean, you're the one that initiated the living apart, but why if you want to make up, is he not making up? Where did that story switch from him wanting to be with you for him not wanting to be with you? What did you think that you did that he thinks is unforgivable? Because obviously something like that is sort of going on. That's always the case when it comes to relationships. So sit down and take some time and start really focusing on what he thinks, why he forgives you, why he's coming home. And you really want to dwell in that. You know what? Write that message out about him coming home. Once you get to the point of being sorry and wanting to put this behind you, he's going to energetically get to the point of being sorry and wanting to put this behind him. Okay. But you really got to create some intentions that, that whatever you did isn't that bad and that he's going to come running home. Okay. So that's just what I'm seeing from there. But again, there's a lot of details here that need to be revised, I'm pretty sure, but they're not in here. I don't know. But I mean, again, I would say any breakup, right, where it sounds like, he's continuing it and you want him back, then there's always that feeling of, you've done something that is completely unforgivable, broke their heart, whatever the case is. So you need to dig into that story. And if you can't really figure out what the thought is, just keep focusing on what you want your end result to be. Okay. So keep, writing that message, keep having those internal conversations with him, he's already home and that he forgives you. Okay. So, and by the way, yes, guys, Erica is amazing as well. So if you are looking for coaching with any of the coaches, definitely check out the link in the description below. As you guys all know, we do get new coaches that come onto the team, and the new coaches do actually get they have the coach in training rate. So they are definitely discounted over and above all the other coaches. And they do that so you get a chance to try them out and to give them some experiment or experience and that sort of thing. So really exciting. Anyways, next question on here is from A. And A says, hello, Amanda. Me and my SP had an argument about her ex-girlfriend who he still loves, though she is married now. and we blocked each other on chat. It's a week now. I unblocked him after 2 days, and he has not unblocked me yet. I have seen him New Year's wishes, and he did not reply yet. Okay. I'm doing intentions that we've overcome this situation as unblocked me. What do you think, and how to change the situation mentally to get him back? Well, again, right? It's about you changing the story and changing how you're feeling. So again, I would suggest really focusing on your SP forgiving you, reaching out, really create intentions about what your SP sees, hears, thinks, and feels. Okay. And then also create your self concept that I'm good enough. But I would revise the argument that it was no big deal. And, because everyone's you pushed out and people are thinking, what you're thinking, and they think it's their idea. Okay. So when you sit down and you really, really spend some time to write out and to think, I would write it out, what your SP thinks and revise that argument, then, you're going to energetically change the situation. So how do you revise something, right? So a really good example of that would be like, let's say I go to a party, and at that party, like I'm like completely like, dancing on like tables. I get completely drunk and make a fool of myself. Okay. The next morning I wake up and I think, oh no, what did I do last night? People must think I'm crazy and I'm a fool. Okay. So if I don't want people to think I'm crazy and a fool, then I need to revise what I'm making my behavior mean. So how I would revise, thinking I got too drunk and everyone's, going to think I'm a, crazy fool and they're never going to invite me to a party again, would be going and saying, no, last night everybody thought I was the life of the party. They thought it was great. They're going to invite me back again. Everybody else was just as drunk as me and they thought I was great. Okay. So that's how you would do the revision. So a revision for like a fight would be, like for instance, a good revision for getting jealous. Let's say, you get jealous and then the other person gets upset and then like says, oh, I can't take your jealousy, right? Okay, and they get mad and leave. A good way to revise that is to say, well, my partner thinks it's cute when I'm jealous. Whenever I'm jealous, they think it's cute because I want to be with them. So in fact, that's actually what happens in my relationship. It was funny. Actually, Andrew was talking to somebody, like some girl, and I was like, and I heard the conversation. I was like, and I actually got a little bit jealous. And he turned around and he said, well, how cute was that? He's like, you got jealous. He's like, that means you want to be with me. So he took me being jealous as a compliment that I wanted to be with him. So, you've got to change the meaning, okay, that you're giving things. Okay. When in our relationship as well, we don't have arguments. We have, discussions that make us closer together, so you've always got to create that, revise what you're making it mean, revise people's reaction to things. If, for instance, right, if you basically create that every time, you talk about your feelings, your specific person runs off, then you want to revise that to whenever I talk about my feelings, my specific person listens, and and we grow closer and closer, so you create how you want that relationship to be. Okay, so revise that breakup. Okay, then we got Monica's question. Hello, Monica. My SP broke up with me nearly 3 years ago. Okay. The year of the breakup, I contacted him several times and he blocked me on everything. I haven't seen or spoken to him since the breakup. Since then, I found you and Neville, and now I have the urge to reach out to him again. However, I'm still blocked. Should I still reach out to him? Well, okay. So, the thing is, right, is you can do whatever you want in your reality. So, should you reach out to him? It depends. Are you still thinking he's got you blocked? Are you still thinking he doesn't want to be with you? So, it's not about the action you take. It's about the thoughts behind the action. Okay. So you can reach out. If you think he's going to unblock you and answer you back, then absolutely reach out. It's your reality. You're God of your reality. You can create whatever you want in your reality. If you reach out to him, it's your creation, whether he answers you back or not. And in fact, you're creating right now him not talking to you. So you can easily create him unblocking you, and in fact, him reaching out to you. Okay. So what you're going to want to do again is revise the breakup, revise how he feels, revise how he's looking at the breakup. You got to revise the breakup for the breakup to be something, that he forgives you for. So take a look. What story are you telling yourself about the breakup? Why doesn't he want to be with you? And then you're going to want to change that. Okay. And then you can even use the fact that it's been 3 years to say, oh yeah, he's totally over it. You know what? He totally wants to be with me. He's totally over it. He realized that, you know what, he wasn't a good idea to leave me, that it was silly, and then he misses me and he couldn't find anyone else like me. Okay. So use that time frame of 3 years to your advantage. Okay. But again, let's, revise that breakup, and then let's start focusing on scripting, or even, intentions on what the communication is going to look like. Even send yourself a text message, that's from him, or however, script how it looks when he reaches out on social media, or when he likes something on your Facebook. I'm not sure, but whatever the case is, to see if there's any way that you can start getting any movement between you two, right? Or at least, getting any evidence that he's unblocked you. Okay. So again, but you want to get unblocked, let's start focusing on all the communication that you guys are going to have. Next question is Kiko's question. I hope I said that right. Hi, Amanda. Hello. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to you too. I've been intending that all here have a wonderful 2021. Thank you. Me too. So new to conscious creation. Awesome. Good to have you. And learning so much from you. I'm glad. How can we account for positive surprises? Okay, so the romantic partner that thinks they can never get, but does. The job someone never thought they'd get, but they do, that sort of thing. If thoughts create, then such negative thoughts shouldn't result in positive outcomes. You're right, and they don't. So how does this consciousness allow for these happy surprises? Well, you know what? I mean, I can tell you, I'm so surprised. Never in a million years did I ever think that Create Your Future would get as big as it did. Okay, well, I mean, sure, I can say that. I can say that. And I do say that. A lot of people say that. But that's not true. I've been working very, very hard on growing this to where it is. Okay, so we don't know that these people got happy surprises. Okay, we weren't in their heads, right? So I know, for instance, when I've claimed a happy surprise, it's never really been a happy surprise. I've worked for it. So I guess my question to you then is, have you ever had a happy surprise? Because unless you have, then you can't say that anyone else actually has, because you don't know what thoughts and energy went into creating what they actually got. You don't know for sure that they sat there thinking negative and got what they wanted still. You don't know that. They may have said that, but that doesn't mean that that's necessarily true. And in fact, it's completely impossible when it comes to quantum physics, because this is actually based in science, okay? So in quantum physics, we have this thing called the Planck scale. And the Planck scale is pure potentiality, okay? It's basically like it's basically like your brain. It's just like everything just waiting, just a bunch of atoms saying, okay, look at, we have all these Legos here and we're just waiting for you to think something, and we're going to build up for you and we're going to send it over to you. So you've got all that, basically that gray matter just sitting there waiting to be molded into something that you want. So what happens is, okay, is you're walking around your reality and you're thinking, and everything that you're thinking is in a wave. It's in a wave, okay? And the wave basically means that the one thing you're thinking of, okay, so let's say you're a specific person, your SP, okay, is in like infinite amount of positions, okay, meaning they're with you, they're not with you. They're with somebody else. They're living at home with a cat. They're living at home alone with a dog. They're still living with their parents. Like every single possibility in the world, okay? So pure potentiality, infinite possibilities, and you decide that you want your specific person to be with you. That's the thought you hold in the frontal lobe of your brain. That's what that wave collapses onto, okay? So then all of a sudden, your brain decides to show you that out in your reality, and all the atoms from that Planck scale bubble up. They make your SP, and then they change your SP's mind to make them want to be with you, or change to make, create their mind to want to be with you. And then boom, that's where they are. Okay. So when you're sitting there, dreaming up what you want your dream car to be. Okay, every single time that you put a little bit more thought into that, those waves, okay, collapse, and that your potentiality for that playing scale, those atoms come up and put a few more atoms into this car that you're dreaming of. Okay, and every time you think about it, those atoms are being focused on and rearranged and collapsed into the position that you're choosing them with your conscious thoughts actually be at. So scientifically impossible to have happy surprises. Okay, so again, I've had many happy surprises, but yet at the same time, they have been created out of my thoughts. I wasn't able to sit here and think negative and then have something positive show up and then, be like, what a happy surprise. I have myself, just talking about me personally, have had happy surprises where I've been like working on something. But you know what? It's not to say, okay, that, there are times where I'm manifesting something and I'm on a mental diet. And sometimes I think maybe I haven't had enough positive thoughts, but then it actually does manifest positive. And I'm actually surprised. I'm like, wow, okay, it did. Because at the same time, sometimes you're not 100% sure it's going to actually manifest, but then it does. Right. So that maybe that's what they mean by happy surprises. But as far as someone saying I was able to never do a mental diet, I thought the opposite the entire time, and this is what I got. That's not necessarily true. They get what their thoughts are. So, maybe we're not, maybe we're misinterpreting, but it's based in science. So I hope that helps to maybe explain what the, happy surprises are, positive surprises. So anyway, MJ, next question. So, how often do you repeat affirmations? Is it better to say them or to listen to your own recording? With listening on a loop during the day and other tasks while you're sleeping work? Okay, so I love this question. So, how often do you repeat affirmations? Every time you think of the situation, you should be doing your affirmations. Now, if it's something that you don't think about much, you may want to say, maybe like set an alarm 3 times a day or every morning, every night. Like if you really want to make, um, progress happen in an area you don't think about much, right? So, for instance, if you're working on weight loss and health, a really good time to do intentions would be when you're walking, exercising, before you eat, while you're cooking, while you're doing anything that's even remotely close to that. For instance, I make intentions for, my business when I'm working. For instance, when I'm thinking about my relationship, that's when I make intentions for my relationship. So you want to do your intentions whenever you think about or you're, interacting with the situation. Is it better to say them or listen to our own recording? It's better to say them in your head. Okay. Because when you have your own recording going, it's still beneficial. Don't get me wrong. It's still beneficial. However, it's better if you actually are saying them up here because you can put your own intentions on, on a plate, like a recording, and then you can listen to it, but then you can be listening to it and you can be thinking the exact opposite up here. And what matters is what you're thinking up here. So if you're thinking, he loves me on the loop in your intentions, but then in your head, you're going, oh, he's ignoring me. I can't believe he did that again. I wonder, is he talking to her again? And you're not doing anything because your frontal lobe is where the magic happens. Okay. So there's no way around, not controlling that little tiny inner, voice inside your head. I mean, that's your magic wand. Okay. And when you're using it, that's when you're using your magic wand. Okay. So, sure, do your intentions, put them on a loop, listen to them recording when you're sleeping, going to bed, like that's great. But if you've got a choice between, doing intentions, like actually reading them and repeating them in your little voice in your head, that's going to be way more powerful than actually listening to them while you're doing other tasks. Okay. Juliana. So hi, Amanda. Hello, Juliana. My SP is finally back from a long work trip and has asked me to meet. Yay! Probably on the weekend. Exciting. There's never been a third party. That's good. Nor it will be good. But I feel every time he's close, I enter this auto sabotage state, like checking his Instagram and obsessing over some girls he likes, some pics. I've been affirming a lot that he loves me and chooses me over everybody else. But how do I stop that cycle to happen again? Any good affirmations to help me feel secure and confident before we meet? Well, I mean, it's a habit. That cycle is a thought process, and that thought process is a habit. So you have to be consciously aware, and you have to stop it, and you have to stop it, and you have to stop it. So when you start to feel it coming on, you've got to stop yourself, and you've just got to resolve that you are going to do it this time. Okay, like that you are seriously going to do it. I mean, the best intentions that you're going to get for this is to go through intentions of you know, uh, well, any good intentions to help you feel secure and confident. Yeah, I feel secure and confident. You know, what are the thoughts that you're having before you meet? You're going to have to start intercepting those and really start to listen to them. So the best intentions for you to stop the cycle and to feel secure and confident is to start, intercepting your thoughts in those moments and listening to yourself and then changing them into positive intentions. So like seriously getting on the court and doing the work and catching yourself. Okay. And then also, you can script out, basically how it goes when you meet him. So you script it out so it goes exactly the way you want it to go rather than, the way it's been going. Okay. And focusing on that being the case. But again, there's always going to be that time when before you go to see him, you're going to have to catch yourself with your thoughts. Okay. So this question was messaged over to us. I don't know who posted it, but I'm going to answer it. So they say, hello, Amanda. Hello. How to think about the reality that I want with my SP rather than the painful reality we are living. How to shift thoughts to make it happen in a specific person relationship what I want rather than facing the pain in this relationship. How to change his focus and his thoughts towards me. Basically, how to recreate him and to change his free will as I want him to behave. Okay. So, I mean, the first thing is, right, is nobody has free will in your reality. Okay. It's your quantum bubble and you're the observer of it. Okay. So again, like I explained earlier in this video, is everything is waves until you look at it. And when you look at it, meaning you intend, right, with your energy, it collapses into whatever position you're intending, whatever thought you're intending, your dominant thoughts. Okay. So how do we change him? We change him by start to focus on him being the person we want him to be. Okay. So we've got to start revising our current situation. Okay. And start changing to the story to get the story to where it is in line with what we want. So pardon me, I'm not sure where you guys are in your relationship, like what's going on, but I would suggest, one-on-one coaching for the details. But, I would revise whatever has made the relationship painful, whatever event that was, I would revise that. And then I would start focusing on who I want him to be. And I would start forgiving myself for, his behavior. And I would start forgiving him for his behavior and start seeing him as the person who he once was. Was he ever nice to you? Was there ever a time where he was the guy that you absolutely loved? I want you to start focusing on that person. Okay. Next question. So it's Amy's. So Amy says, she is looking for one of our coaches and she was wondering which one to choose. So she narrowed it down to Katie and Carol. So Katie's very laid back and amazing. And so is Carol. Carol's energetic, always laughing. So any tips on how to decide which coach to go with? Okay. So, guys, when it comes to deciding which coach to go with, you want to go with a coach that you feel comfortable with, that you're going to be comfortable talking with, because the coaches, they're going to help you to find your blocks and to help you create intentions. Okay. So you want someone that you're going to be comfortable with and that, that they're going to enjoy talking to and that, you think is going to help you the most because you create the experience you have with us. Okay. You create all of it. You create whether you find your blocks, you create what you get out of the session. So, I mean, I intend that you pick the best one for you, and I intend the one that you pick is the best one for you. Yeah, so I mean, or you can give them both a try. I mean, so it's really up to you. I think they're both amazing, but you know, go with, you know, the first one, your gut feeling one, because that's the one that you're creating, you know, most likely to work best with you. So, you know, go with the one that you feel. So that's the best I can say for that. You know, or you can try them both out too, right? It's always an option. So next question is Martiana's question. I hope I said that right. What intentions can I use when I, oh, okay. Okay. So she says here, what intentions can I use to create my SP be narcissist and selfish? But no, I think she means like not narcissist and selfish, because she says, I don't know how to word it to reverse that. So narcissism and selfish, okay, are things that we create people to be, okay? So we create them. So if we don't want someone to be narcissistic, then we need to stop labeling them as narcissistic. Now, if you can't get to the point where you can see them overcoming and getting better and, you know, rehabbing from being narcissistic to a regular person, then, you know, there's no point, because to recreate somebody, you have to be able to see them being a better person. Okay. So how do you recreate someone that's narcissistic and selfish because you believe that this person can change? Okay. So this is how you do it. If you don't believe the person can change, then this isn't going to work. Don't worry about it. Find someone new. Okay. So that's the one thing, is you've got to see them being able to change. Now, narcissistic is just a label. Take all of the traits that you don't like about them that you want to change, okay? And now take each and every one of them one by one and cross them out and change it into a new intention about how you want them to be instead, okay? So if one of the complaints is they only talk about themselves, cross it out and then write, I intend that they never talk about themselves and they always ask me how my day is, okay? And then you would go through and you would do that. And then you would start to focus on those new intentions for the new behavior of what you want with the person, okay? So what you're doing, right, when you're actually recreating anybody, you know, from any sort of, you know, split personality, narcissist, or anything like that, is you're looking to basically recreate the behaviors you don't like in a person, okay? And that's usually what it will come down to in relationships, you know, when you're trying to get along with people, is changing and recreating people's behaviors. So, you know, and how we do that again is by focusing on them having the behavior that you want. And then also focus on those little conversations. If you're having a fight with them in your head, you know, over one of their behaviors, their narcissistic, you know, behaviors, and you're having a mental inner conversation, a fight with them over it, and it hasn't happened yet, then, you know, we need to get on top of those, and we need to start having conversations with them in our head as the person that we want them to be, with the behavior and, you know, the mental, you know, the mental health that we want them to have, okay? And their intentions would be, I intend that they're mentally healthy. I intend, okay? So yeah, guys, you know what? Those are the questions we have today. So again, you know what, to speed up our manifestations, okay, we want to come at things with our emotions in check. We want to have control over our emotions. We want to just observe our reality and see what's in our reality. And then when we see what's in our reality, we can take it and we can either keep it or we can change it, okay? So especially when we have those partial manifestations, or some people call them birds before land, okay, is you want to take them, use them to your advantage. So you know what, keep your emotions in check. Just observe your reality, whatever you don't like in your reality, whatever's not showing up, create intentions around it showing up. What are you going to see, hear, and feel? What does the other person see, hear, and feel? You know, what do they like you? Do they want to be with you? You want to go back, guys, revise those breakups, revise those negative events that had those big turning points where they did want to be with you, and then all of a sudden there was an event that they didn't want to be with you. Revise those events, and that's going to help to speed up this process as well. And I intend that each and every one of you guys have found something wonderful in this video And guys, I thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. You guys are all absolutely amazing. And oh yes, just to let you guys know as well, we do have you guys can, if you like to ask me a question, you guys can sign up on the Patreon. We do have courses coming out with some of the coaches, some new courses. Yeah, so that's also really, really, really exciting. And yeah, so we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.